Hello and welcome to another episode of Industry, Celebrities, and TAAEF Room to Grow podcast series. And for those who don't know, that acronym stands for Texas Apartment Association Education Foundation. Did you know that, Robert?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you do. I am Kimberly Scott, also known as ThatKimberly, and I'm back again at the ALN headquarters interviewing Robert.
Hey.
How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me and letting me ask you 4 easy little questions.
All right. I appreciate you letting me sit down with you.
So, give folks a little bit of background about who you are, where you're from.
I'm from Dallas, Texas. Moved here when I was like 2 and kind of grew up here, and I grew up in the industry. So I've been in it since I was 13, 14 years old. My parents owned properties. My dad was a professor of multifamily property management at UNT for about a decade. So it's anything and everything that I've always done. My sister does it, my brother did it. So we'll talk about it at our Thanksgiving table, all that kind of cool stuff.
Really? So what is that like? 13 or 14 years old, were you hesitant or were you like, sure, I want to do this? Let's be honest.
It wasn't a choice.
Okay.
It was pretty much, my dad was, he had bought 62 units back then and then a little bit more on the side, and he was the maintenance guy, the manager, the rent collector, everything. So after, like hockey games when I was little, we were up there with tiling bathrooms and stuff like that, and I was just handing him the tile, or it was, we had to collect rent. My brother eventually moved into those apartments, so then he helped collect rent. So it was just something of, this is part of your responsibilities, or, you're going to spend time with dad, and he has to go up there and do some stuff, so we're going to go up there and hang out. So yeah, it wasn't really a yay or a no, it was, okay, this is what we're doing today, kind of thing.
Well, that's cool. I mean, my mom, she spent 35 years in the insurance industry. The company will remain nameless. However, she did not want me to go into that business. She wanted me to try something else before I went that route. Like that was a guaranteed route for me, but she was absolutely like, try something else first, like go to college. And I don't know why. I mean, I went to college because it made her happy, but nobody's ever asked to see my transcript. I say that all the time. However, point being is she just wanted me to make sure before she said, no, you should do this type of thing, So I'm always intrigued by family-owned businesses in that manner. Like was it?
We had that step. So I went to Kansas University for about a year for petroleum engineering, and it really wasn't for me.
What? Petroleum engineering?
Yes, petroleum engineering. So I got straight into their engineering program, and school just really wasn't for me. I'm dyslexic, so English class,
Me
and I had
too.
to take all that stuff. I hated that.
Me too.
And then my brother got in a bad motorcycle accident, and we had some other life stuff kind of happen to our family.
Wow.
And so I went, well, what do I know? What can I go do? And I started working as a leasing agent, a porter for some properties, working up to assistant manager, and then grew into asset management, private consulting, and things like that.
Okay.
And then I landed into ALN, my forever home.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I can say, so I see that you went off and when you were a child, like that's what you did, right? Like that's okay. Now I get it. But then as you got to choose, you were able to go choose, and then you just decided like you said, came back home and just
Well, it's easy.
Multifamily.
There's a lot of people in our industry that don't have a degree, and they have designations that you can get from the NAA, the National Apartment Association, things like that.
Every local has great education.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So that spoke heavy to me, that I can make a name for myself, and I really don't need to go to college unless I want to get up to a high executive level.
Yeah.
And that's something I can actually go back to school for and things like that if I want to.
I don't learn that way. Like it's really hard for me to say I would want to go get a master's degree in anything. Like I always tell people I earned an MBA in starting my own business by, finding multifamily the way I did. But I wasn't good in school. Like I got by and I did well in high school, but in college, like that was painful.
No, I would probably not go back. I like a lot of the designations that NAA offers because it allows me to focus on certain subjects of multifamily. And so the thing for school that didn't work for me was that I need to learn about everything for 2 years before I can actually start isolating out what I want to learn about. And multifamily allowed me to really hone what I want to learn about and how to use it. And then of course in the multifamily space, there's, Patrick, seriously here at ALN does marketing. There's anything and everything that you could want to do here. And so that really allowed me, I'm a very analytical and data analytics kind of guy. That's why I love working here.
Data.
Yeah, absolutely. So it allowed me to really focus on things that I grew up being passionate about: property management, returns on investments, measuring different exit strategies for different properties. It's very creative on when you're managing and overlooking different assets and things like that. And then here at ALN, I'm able to take all their different data sets and use that for all those kind of things. And
Get
really
geeky with that data.
Oh, absolutely. And creative with it.
Yeah.
How can you dive through the data to find underperforming assets? How can you use it for acquisitions? How can you use it to underwrite properties on the fly and very quickly? How do you know what areas to look in, what management companies to pick, and all that stuff really... I didn't have
or
much
if they want to buy a property, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like to be able to know what if they want to even just buy that property. Like I was amazed at what a data company and like ALN, what goes into it. I was just like, huh? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so that's always been a passion of mine. I'm very mathematical and analytical, and that's where I fit. I feel very well with ALN, or maybe ALN fits, well with me, and it's kind of a joint marriage there.
Well, good for you. Good for
that's
you.
Why I say my forever home.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure Laura and Wayne will be very happy to hear that. So what would you say is your favorite thing about, you already told me what your favorite thing about is data and ALN, but what's your favorite thing about multifamily in general?
I like helping people and giving them a home. And being able to give that some of a customer service and know that you're taking care of people. But then, really, I like the returns and the advantages of being a property owner and investing in them as well.
Yeah.
And then the industry itself is just so warm and welcoming. I was in a very small pocket of the industry with private consulting, really just talking with owners. I wasn't going to any events or anything like that. I was really just kind of the guy behind the curtain, behind the scenes. And then when I joined ALN, I was able to really see the conferences, the events, how welcoming and opening it is, how much of a family it is, how warm and inviting everybody is. And that gravitated to me a lot.
What was your first event or trade show with ALN?
With ALN, it was actually NMHC Optech, I believe.
Oh, man.
So I was hired right in November, and that would have been my first big event that we dove right into. And so that was great for me because NMHC is very, very analytical. Optech was very technically driven. And then being able to see some industry veterans like Patrick Searcy and Laura Williams work a room and kind of follow them around and play little dog, kind of following the big dog, and see how that goes. That's kind of where I was like, okay, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. This is people shaking hands, making deals, having fun, smiles all around.
Yeah,
this is
a lot of high energy. It's a love and hate relationship with trade shows. After 15 years, your body can't handle it anymore.
Oh, I
can't stay out late after the trade show. I might be good for one drink and then I gotta go to bed. But I do love the aspect of that I get to see all the people that I don't normally get to see, or that I get to see new people that I would normally be able to, interact with if they weren't there, if I wasn't there, whether it's at a local show or TAA or whatever it is, or NMHC.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
There's friends you make on a statewide level, on
Yes.
a national basis.
Absolutely.
There's certain property managers I've worked for that have now moved out of the DFW area, where I managed some property down in San Antonio. They're still down there.
Yeah.
So I get to connect to them, at the Texas Apartment Association events. Some of them are down the development stage, so they only go to the NMHC events or things like that. So it's really great working for a company that allows me to have the luxury of going to some of these larger events and traveling around and being able to reconnect with my friends.
So what advice would you give to someone that, say is in your shoes, comes from a family-owned, business, and, maybe they don't want to be in their family's business, but they want to, come over to multifamily?
Well, that's pretty much what happened to me, even in my family business was multifamily. Well, when I came back from KU, I didn't want to work for my parents anymore, and I wanted to make my own name for myself.
Yeah,
so I went and got a job as a leasing agent or a porter for a couple months, and then moved into a leasing agent and started working my way up. And there's room to grow, even if your family is multifamily, then that's your business. I recommend stepping out a little bit. Yeah. There's definitely a lot to offer.
From the curtain.
Oh, absolutely.
Of the family name.
And there's a lot to offer on education-wise, practice-wise.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that I've learned that have made me a more successful investor of multifamily assets and more successful at underwriting and what I still do on the side that I wouldn't have gained if I didn't step out and and go this other way. And if you have a family business that is outside of that, you still are talking a lot of the same numbers. You're going over profit and loss statements, even as an assistant manager level or as a manager level on site. You're going over
business.
Business plans, ROIs,
marketing plans, all of it.
Absolutely, all that kind of stuff. So it will only really strengthen your ability if you do choose to come back or break out into your own business or stay, working as an employee for a multifamily company. It's only going to strengthen all of your skills and hone them better than I think that I would have if I never would have made that jump. I would have kind of stayed somewhat cuddled and just, hey, this is okay. Now
Did you say the word cuddled?
Yes, somewhat.
Just wanted to make sure. I love it.
I would have stayed a little bit more cuddled with my father, I think, and followed his path and listened to him a little bit more, where now we more have conversations where it's more intelligent and more analytical and headbutting a lot of practices and, hey, we can't push this rent here, we should do this here, no, that's not how people are doing it anymore. And he's going, no, that's how I want it done. And so I think that really helped me grow, not just as a person, but as my own business, and as well as, again, I owe that all to the multifamily industry.
Awesome. I learned not to argue with my mother. I just say yes, mom, and move on. I know it's a little bit different because you're of a business with your father, but sometimes it's,
there's times where it's okay,
sure,
hey, look, it's your business.
I love you, and I just want to not
whatever you want to do. Sure, we'll do it that way.
And then underlying it, I'm always like, you can't say I told you so to your parents ever, like you just, my dad always says, and he says some bad words with it. He's like, but I've earned this to be ornery or change my mind or whatever. He uses some bad language that I'll leave out, but he just says, I'm your father and I've earned the right to.
We've had those conversations where he's been very upfront with, hey, look, this is my business. It's however multi-million-dollar business. If I want something done this way, then this is the way I feel it done. And I've been very upfront. There's times where I've told him, then, hey, look, man, I'm not the time. I'm not the guy for that job. That we do need to outsource this or hire somebody else.
Correct.
Because either don't have the time or I don't feel that I can do that correctly or in the manner that you want it done.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, because that's what it takes. Like, hey, I love you, Dad. I'm just going to go ahead and say, I'll let someone else do that for you because you don't like the way I do it.
Yeah, let me help you find somebody that can, or if you can't find them for you, or
absolutely.
Let's move from there. And I'm going to go back to my 9-to-5 now and keep doing what I do.
And we can stay father and son.
We're very hey, this is business and this is family. This is separate.
Awesome. And that's a hard skill to learn. Like, I couldn't, because there was no family business. It was just like either follow my mom's path down to the insurance or not. And she was like, absolutely don't do that. And then when I did start a business, I would never hire any of my relatives because we're so headstrong that I want to love them. I don't want to fight with them.
I agree. So,
but you have a great skill if you can say that you know how to keep those two separate, because that's a soft skill that is really hard to teach and also hard to learn, I feel, from just.
I think it's more of just forced upon us, and growing up with my sister is very
I love
headstrong.
your honesty, just really. I'm just gonna.
So I grew up with having to separate family, and like I said, I have a younger sister. She's very, very headstrong, so I think that's where I kind of picked that up from. She's brilliant. She's she's way smarter than me. She has a degree in property management. She works managing some high rises and some HOAs over in Florida. Lives on the beach. Loves her life. I don't know if we could work well together because of how headstrong we both are, but I think it got forced a little bit more from my dad of, this is your business. You are paying the bills. I appreciate your help and everything, but you want to do it your ways.
Yeah.
You've built this, not me. I'm just along for the ride and I'm eating at your table.
Well, good for you. So
if you're looking for something new, if you're out of high school, if you're out of college, either or, there's never really a wrong time to jump into multifamily. I've met people that started when they're 40 and made a giant impact in the career. I've met people that started when they were 18 and had a giant impact in the career. And I really think, like I said, there's no really perfect right time. If you're at any stage of your life, multifamily is a great time to jump into. There's tons of money to be made. You can make a name for yourself jumping up from a small spot to a large area, and it can be done quickly if you are going to put into it what you expect out of it. And
you participate, as long as you participate.
Absolutely. And learn. And there's great on both sides. There's just as great opportunity and employment on the operational side as much as there is on the supplier side.
There you go.
And
yes,
all of that.
I love it.
And I think you can try out both sides as well. I've known a lot of people that were great leasing agents and they turned into great supplier salespeople. I've known a lot of people that were good supplier salespeople and they jumped over to property management and they got into a management role and they loved that a lot better.
Yeah.
And so really
there's something for everyone. I tell people
Absolutely.
all the time. There's something for everyone. You just have to be patient, and you have to put yourself out there, and you have to participate.
Oh, absolutely. And it's very easy to participate.
Yes.
I mean, I can't tell you how many committees I've joined just by sending in a little thing that said it was an application. I get an email back in 30 minutes that says, "Hey, you're now on this committee."
Yeah,
you know, we meet these days.
Yeah, they need the volunteers.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. That's awesome. So I really appreciate you, Robert, for sharing your story with us. And tell folks how, if they have more questions, how can they connect with you?
You can connect with me at Robert, that's Robert, at ALNdata.com for email.
And it'll be in the show notes.
Yes, ma'am. And then you can find me on LinkedIn, Robert Durham, absolutely. If you want to track ALN on Facebook or anything like that, you can search us under ALN Apartment Data and find us there. And you can find anything else we're putting on Twitter at ALN App Data, APT. So we're anywhere and everywhere. Start
Awesome.
Googling us and you'll
It
find our stuff. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I really appreciate your time. This has been a joy to visit with another third
Started with my
generation.
grandfather,
There we
then
go.
my dad moved into it, and then now
I like
me
that.
and my sister and my brother are kind of all picking up the realms from there.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you either way, Robert. That is amazing. And if Robert's story, if you are another multi-generational, multi-family person, meaning your parents are in the biz, and you think you don't want to work for your parents, then get a hold of Robert and he'll tell you how you can find something else.
Absolutely. We'll get you at least connected with somebody and
Yes.
try to get you plugged in somewhere.
Yeah, share the episode. If you know somebody, then tag them in the comments, because it's definitely, like you said, so much room to grow in multifamily, and you need to check it out. So thanks again, Robert.
Thank
And remember,
you.
until next week, sharing is caring. Bye, y'all.
Bye.